Dave, on our travels again, not unusual for us, down to Barnet. How much are you looking forward to the game?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Big opportunity for us to continue our little run we've had. Tough game, but a game, as with any in the division, is more than winnable, and that's what we'll hope to try and go there to do. And if we can't win, and make sure we don't lose and keep this run going.
As usual, preparations right. We've got a new face on the team coach as well yesterday, signed from Burnley. What can you tell us about Rob Harker?
Yeah, listen, Rob's a first loan for him, so he's highly rated, he's done well in their 23s, has scored goals, will give us different options, if you like, and play up as a one or in a two. I'm looking forward to working with him. Again, probably for him a little bit of the unknown, if you like, coming into men's football. But
is that daunting?
It potentially can be, but I suppose every person and player is individual in terms of what they do. I get on the bus obviously a little bit later and ask Squeens whether lads have been introduced and stuff, but he said no, he's gone down and shook everyone's hand, so he's certainly done things to now in the right way and gone to make sure that the people know about him. And the quicker he can get, again, it works quite well being an overnight stay, the quicker he can get embedded into the squad, the better. But they're a good group, they'll make him feel welcome, and like I say, I think he'll be a really good addition for us.
And as you say, down to Barnet, who haven't lost very many games. I don't think they've lost, in fact, since the end of November. It is quite a tough test, this one. Really
tough test. Again, probably from my time at Fyle, when we played them at home, they were the best team we played. But shows the nature of this league. Only a week or so later they came to Hartlepool, and after speaking to Sweens, he said they were terrible on the day. So it's the way this league can go. They've put a good run together. Probably if you look at them, they'll probably suggest too many draws, and they've lost games in terms of the weather with the pitch. But with the games in hand, if they can win them, they put themselves in a good position. From our perspective, they're in and around us. Granted, they've got more games to play than what we have, but we can directly affect an opponent. So we know it'll be tough. But like I say, we've got to look after us. We're in a decent run of form. We've got to make sure we continue that and do everything we can to try and win.
As you say, it's a little bit difficult to totally weigh up the league at the moment with the games in hand, particularly Barnet, who I think I've got 3 on us at the minute.
Yeah, it is. It's always the case, I suppose, this time of the year. You lose some games due to weather at certain parts of the country. FA Trophy, FA Cup, how far you go in those competitions is dependent whether games get called off and whether they can be rearranged. Things will probably or normally equal themselves out around about the end of February, when there's been games through the midweeks. But let's listen. At the end of the day, you judge on where you are after 46 games at the end of April, and we want to make sure we do everything we can to keep moving forward, and give ourselves a shot towards the back end of the season to have a real push and see if we can get in amongst it. The quicker we do that, the more, I suppose, belief will build and confidence will build. And like I say, hopefully that'll be the case.
The manner and the style of the victory against Stockport seems to have really galvanised the fans. There's a real excitement building. We haven't been in this position with something to play for with this shorter season left. Is that the feeling that you can sense building in the change room as well?
Yeah, absolutely. What you've got to do again is be very aware you're only as good as your last game, and our last game after tomorrow will be tomorrow, so it can come crashing down in front of you pretty quickly. What we have done, like I say, we've built a little bit of momentum, we've got a little bit of continuity in terms of how we've played and choices we're making in terms of team selection. We've got to carry that on now tomorrow in what is a tough game, and keep ourselves in there, and especially when we're at home, if we can build that spirit and build that atmosphere, it'll be a great place to play, and it will give us an advantage over other teams. Like I say, we've done that on Saturday at Stockport. Great game, great atmosphere, brilliant result for us. We've now got to do it in a different environment at Barnet tomorrow, but let's listen, they're more than capable of doing it, and hopefully they'll show that.
And just finally, obviously you brought new faces into the group, which has allowed you just to manoeuvre on the outgoings as well. Jason Kennedy off to Spennymoor Town, Nico Muir, Hampton and Richmond on loan. What can you tell us about the decision making behind that?
Yeah, listen, I think JK would probably have gone out sooner. I had a chat with him before Christmas, and I said that I'd say it in the sort of press, really. Things turned round quickly, and all of a sudden we went from having a heavy squad to a light squad in the space of a couple of weeks. So it meant we had to keep him in probably a little bit longer than we'd wanted and he wanted, because he needs to be playing games. So opportunities come around now that we can get him out, and again takes us the other way a little bit, leaves us slightly light, but it's an opportunity for him within the next month to get some football, and we can then reassess and see where we're at. Hopefully he does well, gets himself a run of games and gets him. Although he's, like I've said before, he's a brilliant pro, he's a great trainer. It gets him properly match fit, and then we make a decision as to whether he comes back in and affects our squad towards the back end of the season, or whether we look at extending things or changing things. With Neeks, obviously he's been out previously, and had a loan, has come back. Probably in his mind with the knowledge that he wanted to try and go back out again. In that scenario, although it's to the end of the season with him, we have a recourse. So after 28 games, we can, I suppose, protect ourselves a little bit and not to leave us short. I suppose the next marker for us comes the end of March, which is ultimately the registration deadline, to make sure we've enough fit bodies to see us through to the end of the season and hopefully beyond that. So listen, it's constantly changing. It's a constantly changing picture in terms of where players are at, and what we've got to do is what we think best for them first and foremost, but best for us to reap the most reward from them moving forward. Hopefully, like I say, we've got a lot of games to fit in between now and hopefully mid-May, and them lads going out and getting football will do everyone the world of good.
And just finally, one other bit of news this week. One person who will be with us until the end of the season confirmed: Gary Little's loan deal extended from Walsall. How pleased have you been with his performances?
Yeah, really pleased. Listen, I think it was a situation that worked for everybody. Worked for Walsall, and the fact Lids was playing midfield, probably a position that at that level wasn't overly comfortable with, has worked for him, certainly because he's back with his family and not commuting up and down to Walsall, and obviously has worked for us in the fact we've brought in a player with bags of experience that's really been a calming influence in a back four that's been ever changing. Don't get me wrong. Hopefully now it'll be a little more settled. His quality on the ball will undoubtedly suit how moving forward I want to try and play, and like I say, we've managed to secure it till the end of the season. Like I say, I'm pretty hopeful in terms of conversations I've had with Lids that, fingers crossed, we'll be in a position to potentially try and do something moving further down the line. I've said before, in the summer we've got a big recruitment job in terms of the players we currently have contracted, and as many of them boxes I can get ticked between now and the end of the season, it'll obviously save us a little bit of work during that break, and like I say, he'd be one that we'd love to keep further.